This is the Simpli Sisters Podcast. Girl, get in here, settle down, settle in, take up space and breathe. Come in this safe space where we believe in the power of sisterhood. We encourage truth and dialogue that promotes peace, clarity, and freedom. Join us here for conversations for the soul because there is so much to talk about.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Simpli Sisters Podcast. I'm Simpli here.
And I'm Coach Gayl, Benson.
And today we'll talk about how comparison is canceling your calling and how one of the instances in what we're talking about and speak about is social media. All have a calling on our life. And so therefore, that calling on our life is so important because people then place that calling on your life, the divine did. So what happens is when you start comparing yourself, your motives, your thoughts, your actions to other people's actions on social media or anywhere, that becomes a problem. I post, but it does not consume me.
Right.
And our team here often hear me say, oh, I forgot to post this week. Not today, but this week. Oh, I haven't posted in 2 weeks. And there's a reason behind that. And that is because social media is not my calling. How many likes we have, how many views, how many people are watching us. Listen, there's a certain danger in that because in that gives you false perception. You start believing what people perceive. You start believing the productions that you're putting on is entertaining someone or it makes you feel good inside. There was someone said something to me one time. You're always on Facebook and it's social media stuff. And now the person who said that, social media, all over Facebook. So who are you? Is what's coming out of your mouth to make things look like everything is so grand and great in your world. The reality of it is when you get up, when I get up, when Gayl gets up, when our production team gets up, when our boss lady gets up, there are issues in our lives. You cannot get on there and tell me that everything in your life is grand and great.
Or sell me a sip of that you drinking. But listen, Tammy, I'm glad that you said that because social media is a beast. It has become a beast in the mental health community about how people are getting lost and losing their way. In this discussion about how comparison is canceling your calling, we have got to be careful that we don't lose ourselves along the way behind what we think we see.
Right.
Our dreams and our goals, the things that we've been tasked with,
Yes.
they get quietly tucked away when we start getting lost and watching somebody else's journey.
Yes.
And then you start asking your question or basing your moves and your thoughts on what you think you see.
Right.
Don't lose your calling
Right.
in selected moments.
Right.
Understand me? People are carefully and strategically selecting what you see, and then you base your life on someone's intricate selection. That's really not the truth. It's a fragment of their life, even if it's their life. I promise you, and this was the younger generation, I saw this child get up. And this was somebody spent the night at my house one time with my kids. I saw this child get up before she brushed her teeth, ate breakfast, went to the bathroom because somebody like me, honey, the first thing I'm doing, I'm going bathroom. Get up and I thought she was talking to somebody. She was up and on social media. And I'm like, dang, she is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. But then when she came around that corner, honey, she looked like the Move Monster. Like her face was totally. And I was like, was that you talking? And she was like, yes, Miss Gayl, that was me. I was up doing my social media post. I was like, oh, and I'm thinking the voice I heard, chipper, up and this and that. But when she hit that corner and read into me, honey, baby, that face was totally different. When I tell you, people, and I understand people do certain things according to their business or their personal decisions and perceptions of what they need to do on social media or just in life.
Right.
But I tell you one thing, task somebody with being truthful about who they are up front, close and personal, or having to actually live in, act in, or show, improve their knowledge when you see them face to face or on the spot when they don't have access to Chat GPT and Claude and all these other vehicles to let their true essence of who they are be present. You will realize most times you're like, wow, I was comparing myself to that person. This person don't have it. Like they were scatterbrained. Like where was all the knowledge and stuff that you had on social media or where I saw you on YouTube or when I saw you in this video? It is because if you are not one and the same and being yourself, the same person every day, all day, people are going to expect to see what they saw on social media, and that's not what they're going to get from you, or that's not what you're going to get from them. So change your perception. Stop thinking that people are further along than you are.
Oh, yes.
Stop questioning why is that happening for them. Because I'm going to tell you one or two things. When you see somebody and you celebrate them, and in the same moment you question yourself behind their journey, one or two things is actively happening. Either you have no idea the price they paid to be where they are, the struggle and in the journey that they've been to get there, or you're not ready to go where you think you should be because you're looking at their walk. Their walk is not yours. Your journey is intricately and customized just for you. So don't try to slide in them size 10s when you wear 7 and think you're going to go ahead and walk 2 miles in those shoes. It's not going to happen. You're going to slip and slide. You're going to have blisters. You're going to look downright funky. I'm going to tell you right now, because I will talk about you if I see some 7s riding around here and some 10s. You understand? Somebody got to pull you to the carpet and say, hey, that's not your walk. So where's your faith walk when it comes to your journey? Where's your community that holds you accountable and reels you back in and say, hey, do not lose the steps. Don't lose yourself. And you forget your main character because you want to go sit in the audience and watch somebody else's show. Ooh. You can't do that. Don't lose and diminish your main character to go sit in the audience.
I had to write this down. That you mentioned part of this, and is people already have a perception of you.
Yeah.
The difference is they can see you on social media. It's when they're with you when you're not on social media, and that person you truly are. If you're lucky enough to get a little more inside and close and mingle a little more, you'll realize that some people are using social media to make themselves feel good because when they're home or when they are by themselves, they don't have that. So when you're pulling from social media so much, just putting yourself, and that makes you feel good, that you must do this. And like I said, I forget sometimes about social media, and I'll come on and I'll have people say, hey, you haven't posted. And I go, oh yeah, I've been busy. I've been working, which I have. So I'm working every day. Not just my job, I'm working there, all kind of stuff. So I forget about social media. Now I don't go back to see how many people like, I don't at all. So should I know why? Because what God has for me, I'm going to get because I'm walking the walk. I'm talking the talk, and I'm doing what I'm instructed to do. So I don't need to pull from the people on social media. Do I like seeing what you all are putting out? Yeah, it's beautiful. I love seeing out there enjoying life, going to the water parks with your families, fishing, whatever it is you're out doing. That is just so beautiful. But let me go back, because some of you use social media to try to hurt others, and that is wrong. And when you use social media to try to hurt others and forecast things, right, and that you're not happy in. So that's why I say it's so important to be real, to present something that is real. But who am I? I'm simply Tammy. I'm going to do things the way I'm supposed to do, the right way.
And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You know, we have to be very cognizant of whose energy we're allowing into our spaces.
Yes.
Understand everyone on that has access to social media, people have access to a whole lot of information with very little understanding. You understand?
Right.
And everyone on social media is not an expert, but everybody has an opinion and it gets to be shared. My caution for you is do not get caught up. And just because you see people and they have a huge following or they loud and they carrying on and then they loud and wrong. And then you're adjusting your behaviors and how you live your life and how you make decisions based on someone who is absolutely putting on a show for you, not being their best selves. I promise you, I cannot stress it enough, is that you trust yourself more than what you see. The eyes are going to always deceive you. Stay in close proximity with your relationship with God. We're going to come back on the other side with some information to help guide you on how not to lose yourself and become a victim of the death of comparison. So keep yourself and your dreams alive. We'll be back and we'll see you on the other side.
Hey, sis. Sister. You're the one. Sister. You are sister. No matter when life takes us through, 'cause you're always gonna be my simply sister.
Welcome back to the Simpli Sisters Podcast, where we are talking about death by comparison, when comparison is canceling your calling. So on this half of the discussion, we're going to talk about becoming victim of death by comparison, how to realign and reinvite new thoughts so that you keep the focus and your energy on your journey and on your gifts so that you can feed your calling. And one of the things that I wrote down here, trying to keep my notes in order, child, because I'm so proud I do my homework and stuff. But, my suggestion here, if you're going to compare yourself to anything, use evidence-based comparisons. Use evidence from your own journey, because that's the only thing that you can in real time speak to and make your own adjustments from. Look at how far you've come. Look at what you've survived. You didn't come all this way and survive all of that crap for nothing. So don't lose that. Honor what you've survived and what you've already learned.
Yes.
And then you start envisioning and looking forward to what are you getting ready to learn? And what can I set myself up to learn about myself this year? Don't lose track of your own journey because you get stuck in somebody else's timeline. Right. We can't get stuck in other people's timeline. Their walk is not our walk. So I am encouraging you just to take the time to look at your journey. We talked about in another episode when we get to a pausing point and sometimes the plan changes and it gets switched up.
Yes.
Take time. Don't let God have to force you to take a still moment because we won't stop or we won't take a moment until we are forced to do it. Right. Be proactive in your journey and schedule if you can. Just be aware of your environment and how the process is going for you, not just in your business and professionally, but in your personal life. I have had to take stock where it was a part that just, God was like, and I was forced to stop. But since that, I learned from that. And since that, once a week, I look at myself and I try to ask, what do I need to do different? Am I carrying something that I don't need moving forward?
Right.
And a lot of stuff that you're carrying that you don't need, it comes from you comparing yourself to others. How are they doing that? I've done much more work. I've spent so much time. I've invested so much more than them. But how do you really know? And can you gauge if you're willing to do the things that people have done, to do what you see them doing? And are they really doing what you see? Your eyes can be deceptive. Focus on your journey, where you're going, what you've learned, and what more do you need to learn. Expose yourself to different people, different communities. Start edifying yourself and getting more education on some of the things that you're dreaming about.
Right.
When you immerse yourself in your vision and dreams for yourself, you don't have time
To worry about.
to look at anybody else. When I tell you God put some things in my face in the last 6 months that I have gotten so excited about, just the other day, I broke down in tears for something that he showed me. And then yesterday it came to pass right in my face. When I tell you, because I have been constantly in prayer about guidance and letting me stay focused on what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And when that thing came down for me yesterday, I cried for probably 30 minutes. It was so overwhelming how much I know that God loves me and he's speaking to me. And all I have to do is pay attention. And if I'm going to ask questions, I need to be asking him
Yes.
or accessing the people that he's put in my life. Be mindful. I'm going to say this every episode if I get a segue to do it. Be mindful of your circle.
That is true. So, first thing, when you were born, God had a calling on your life. Second thing, you will pay for what it is you present, the things you do, the things you say, the acts you put on. Everything comes back to you. That's why it's important to not diminish yourself based on others' actions. There are so many people out here who are broken, who don't have understanding, who lack, and they put on and perform. You don't know what's going on in these people's lives, okay? You don't know what their rearing was, how they've been hurt. There are women out there have been hurt in different ways. Men been hurt in different ways. Men, some men haven't even been raised by their fathers.
Oh, they mammies. Excuse me.
You know, it's so much to think about. And when the person steps out and they're on Facebook or they're on Instagram or they're on TikTok, all these talks and ticks and all these different social media platforms, and they're smiling and they're performing, understand, number one, they're not perfect. I'm going to do what God called me to do.
Let me tell y'all something. Some people use things to fight away their own traumas and pains. And it's an avoidance to avoid really spending time with themselves to find out where they need to grow through so they can go through. And that's what I would ask you to do is just do self-examination because we can't hold anybody else accountable but ourselves. So my question for you is, what if you found yourself comparing yourself to someone after you celebrated them and then you start comparing yourself? I want you to ask, is there something that you admire about what they did that you can awaken in yourself? And is that a part of what you're supposed to be doing? Just because you admire what someone is doing doesn't mean that that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Celebrate people, absolutely.
Right.
Celebrate people on their journeys, but just because you admire what they're doing doesn't mean that that's something that you need to be doing.
Right.
Again, when you get inspired by someone else's journey, whether it's truth in what you're seeing or not, but the fact that it inspired you, what can you do to start inspiring yourself with the focus on what your gift is?
Right.
Turn it around on yourself. Don't look for external validation. The conversation has to be with yourself because guess what? You're the one that needs to do the work.
But there are people who don't realize sometimes too, because they are reaching outward to other people and things to make them feel good. They don't know what internal validation. They only understand external validation because that's how they were raised.
That's the
They weren't
trauma.
They weren't taught or they weren't given the tools when they were growing up to know how to handle this.
No coping.
And I'm going to tell you some things here. I grew up in a wonderful home. There's still some things that I didn't understand and that I had to work on. You know, my mom was spiritual, my dad's spiritual, my dad's spirituality. They taught us meditation. We went to meditation classes. My grandfather taught those classes and we had to learn. You don't have to react to everything.
Right.
You don't have to be a part of everything. Sit down, be still. That's why today in life, I don't have to lose my mind on anything because I was taught there's nothing to gain from. And believe you me that whatever you do, whatever you say, how you react, all those things come back to you. You are demonstrating who you are and what's inside of you when you do these things, okay?
She said a mouthful, baby. I promise you she did. But, you know, we don't want you to feel overwhelmed.
Right.
Because I think some of this happens subconsciously because a lot of us may not even realize that we're doing it. But when these thoughts come up and you start noticing them, you know, I would tell you to take your eyes off of what other people are doing and plant your feet in your shoes so that you can walk your journey, because that path has been specifically laid out for you. There are lessons along the way. Simply Tammy and I can be walking together on the same path and in the same direction, going to the same place. But along that way, she's going to see some things that were meant for her to see. And I'm going to see some things that are meant for me to see. And we have to apply those to our own journeys. Even though we appear to be walking in the same direction, we're still learning different lessons. We work well together collectively. Yes. There are still things God's doing with us individually, and it's going to either contribute to our collective or it's going to add value somewhere else in our life for somebody else.
Well, in saying that, you have dealt with some things that may have come up for me, and in our conversation, I was able to gain the proper knowledge of the awareness of whatever that it was, and it made me better. So there are things that I've been through that when we have conversation, and it was a situation that Coach Benson's been in, and this is just like in Joan conversation when we're not on camera or we're working or whatever, because these things have to come up for us to be able to do what we do.
Right.
So I have been able to say to her, what? No.
What?
She's been able to say to me, what? No.
Then no.
And there have been things when we are preparing for this, boss lady will say, no.
No is a complete sentence.
It happened today. She basically said, y'all get out my business. Y'all to y'all notes and let me do what I'm doing. So, you know.
And her back was to us. It's like she knew that we was looking at her, like trying to figure out what she was doing. She was like, get y'all something to do. Get in y'all nose. Don't worry about doing over here.
That's right. So stay in your, you know, and you know, if you're driving, I used to drive in the left lane of the highway now. Just get in the far left, right lane, throw my cruise control. Well, I'm just so relaxed and patient now. And except for yesterday, my God. That little man on the scooter.
Yes, Lord have mercy.
In front of me. But I said, oh, Lord, forgive me. Man's riding in front of me trying to direct traffic. You are not the traffic director. Get out of the way. So, you know, this little things come up like that. But I said, Lord, forgive me. And you know, he's getting around. And he wanted to let cars in. He's like he was the director. I was like, what is going on here? But anyway, getting off subject, but
come back, Tammy. Come back. We miss you, girl.
She's on the phone. She's like, you have to be pulled back.
Yeah.
You know, because little things will trigger us. But just listen and remember this, that social media can be a beautiful, wonderful thing in your presentation on it. Your presentation, however you say it from wherever you are, can be beautiful. But when you're putting out falsities and you're trying to make things look a certain way, never grow. You'll never grow. You'll never come on with anything different to show that you grew.
Yeah. We just want to encourage you as we close to say, enjoy the path that you're on. Embrace it. And walk in the direction of learning and growing so that you can become the person that you were meant to become.
Yes.
There's no problem with waving at people along the way as you're traveling on your journey in your lane. But if you get distracted, you may miss your exit. You may miss something that was set up for you to trip you up that you could have avoided had you been paying attention. We want to keep our eyes looking forward. Stay in your purpose. Embrace your power. Thank you for coming in and seeing and watching us every week on Tuesdays at 6 a.m.
Yes, thank you.
We love it that you're here. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing the Simpli Sisters podcast with somebody that you love. We want to invite you to go in the description. Email us info@simplisisterspodcast.com. Visit our website at www.simplisisterspodcast.com. simplisisters.com. We have enjoyed being here with you today. Thank you for being a part of the Simply Circle family. We will see you next week because there's always so much to talk about. So until then, make it happen
Beautifully.
Love you. Bye.